The 18th of April, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
My glasses because I couldn't see.
Okay. Okay, so Reb Chia said his din. That the witnesses would force the defendant to make a shvua on the remaining amount that the plaintiff claimed, and even though he doesn't have, he's basing his din on the deraisa din. Rashi says of shvuas modeh mixus, just like shvuas modeh mixus is based upon the fact. Based upon that's the Torah din. That's what the Torah says. The guy is motive mixus. He's got to pay what he's motive to, and then he swears on the rest. So too, Reb Chia is saying that the case of his case should be the same din, even though the guy is not admitting to anything, but the witnesses are testifying that he owes half the amount the plaintiff is claiming, and therefore he's got to obviously pay that amount, and he also has to make a shvua on the remaining amount. And then he brought a proof. Tanatuna brought a raya from our Mishnah. And then we're up to our place in our Gemora. The Gemora now wants to know. It's asking a question over here. Mai shelo tehei hodas piv gedola miha odas edim mikal v'chomer. What is this all about? That you want to bring a kal v'chomer from the Mishnah to prove this principle? And Rashi explained that what the Gemara means to say is mehechetesi lan. Rashi is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the bottom of the Rashis. Dibra maskil mai lo tehei hodos piv gedola meha odos edim. Maybe we should read this Rashi again. Well, let's just start from the Gemara. Mai shelo tehei hodos piv gedola meha odos edim. This is see where this is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom of Gimel Amid Aleph.
It's 3A4, left-hand column, second paragraph.
Okay, Lou. I'd like to read the Gemara.
What is behind Reb Chia's statement? For the admission of his own mouth shall not be greater than the testimony of witnesses, as can be demonstrated by a kol v'chomer. Why is a kol v'chomer needed? Shelo tomar hodas piv hu de ramai racha mana shavua alei kide rabah. A kol v'chomer is needed so that you should not argue. It is only in the case of the defendant's own admission to part of the claim that the merciful one imposed an oath upon him, as one might think, based on what Rabbah said. De Amar Rabbah mipnei ma amra Torah modeh miktsas hatana yishava. For Rabbah said, because of what reason did the Torah say that one who admits part of a claim must swear that his denial of the other is the truth? Hazaka ein Adam meiz panav bifnei Baal chovo, because it is presumed that a person is not so brazen as to deny his obligation to the face of his creditor. Bahai bechule boe de nichpere. Thus, it is possible that this defendant would want to deny the entire claim. Vaha delo kifrei mishum de'ain adam meiz panav, and that which he did not deny it entirely is because a person cannot bring himself to be so brazen. So I guess what it's saying is that there's something special about the defendant and his sense of embarrassment, which makes him different from somebody else.
Yeah, his sense of embarrassment, or he's right. He's not so impudent. He's not going to be amazed punav to say, no, I don't. You say that I owe you a mana. I don't owe you a thing. He doesn't have the chutzpah to look at the person that gave him the loan in the face, that he did a favor for him, and tell him, I didn't borrow anything from you. He doesn't have that chutzpah to say such a thing. And then okay, so there's a whole thing over here that Rav is explaining what's going on in the mind of this person and why it is that he's admitting to half of the payment, because he can't bring himself to deny the whole payment, the whole loan, and so therefore he's explaining a rationale why the Torah commands in this case, where a defendant is motive mixus to the claim of the plaintiff, that we're going to put a shvuah on him. We're going to put a shvuah on him with the idea that he's going to he's going to back down and admit the whole amount rather than make a false shvuah. So the question is, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look over here at Rashi. Rashi divrei maska mai lo tehei hodas piv gedol mihodas edim. Phil,
which one do we want to do? Ma.
the mai lo tehei hodas piv.
Okay, meha the hodas piv. What is there? It is not from the admittance with his mouth. Isn't the admittance, his, so to speak, his admittance with his mouth greater than bringing the witnesses? Mihachi here, tite le limidiak, gives to him to make a diuk with tisach to adacha, to put your mind on or remove your mind.
Tasek adaita, that it would literally, what it means is that it would go up in your mind.
Well, it would go in your mind, right?
To entertain the possibility that blah blah blah.
That it would be hoda piv gedola would be. Why would you think, so to speak? Why would it come to your mind? think that it would be the admittance with his mouth would be greater than the witnesses, than the testimony of witnesses.
Right. Yeah.
That I need the Tana, Lemilif, to learn Mikol from a Kal V'choma. Delo Tehei Avad, that there shouldn't be a admittance with his mouth being greater.
Right. So we got to think of, we have to keep straight the steps that the Gemara is taking over here. So right now the Gemara is just challenging the whole presentation of Reb Chia. What do you need your presentation for, Reb Chia? What's the why would I ever think that simply admission of the defendant would be mechayev him in a shvua, whereas if witnesses say that he owes half the amount, that wouldn't be and he's denied the whole thing. That would not be mechayev him in a shvua. Where would I think that his admission would be a greater mechayev of a shvua, like the Torah says, than the case that Reb Chia presents, where he didn't admit anything at all. It's just witnesses came along and they said, yeah, he does owe half the amount that the plaintiff is saying over here. So that's what and since you would think like that, so then Reb Chia says, oh, so I got a proof for you not to think like that. Our Mishnah, the Mishnah of Shnai Mochsin B'Talis. So now the Gemara is stepping back and saying, why was it that Reb Chia thought that we would think like that? And then the Gemara is answering, yeah, there is a reason why we would have thought like that. That the admission of the defendant is in fact the greater mechayev of a shvua than if he doesn't admit anything and witnesses testify against him that he does in fact owe half the amount. And that's where Rabbah comes in. To Omer Rabbah, because then the Gemara is saying, if we understand Rabbah, so then we'll understand Reb Chia. And what's Rabbah all about? Rabbah is explaining us he's giving, so to speak, like a time of the crow, a rationale for why it is that the Torah is mechayev a person, the defendant, when he makes an admission on half of the claim that the Torah says, oh, we want him to swear we want him to swear on the other half. Okay, so we can take a look at the Rashi now on that as well. Mipnei ma amra Torah chule. Then the next Rashi in the
next Rashi, mipnei, because ma amar the Torah. What did the Torah say? What was taught?
For literally, for what did the Torah say? For what reason it means? For what reason did the Torah say that when you have a guy who in the face of a claim against him, he admits on half the claim? Why is it that the Torah says that in that case, when he admits on half of it, we say swear on the other half that you don't owe the other half? Why is that?
Okay. The low chashvel, because we don't think. Kimashiv aveda, when you're returning a lost object, the patro, to make him pater. Shalom kofer bakulo, that he's not on all of it. He doesn't receive kofer on all of it.
Okay, so Rashi is giving an explanation for let's read the Rashi's words. So the Gemora is is saying, why is it that the Torah says that this person has got to make a shvua over here on the other half? And Rashi's saying, "V'lo chashvu k'meshiv aveda." He's not regarded as a great tzaddik over here, and somebody who's like returning a lost item that the owner doesn't have. Because what's the owner? What's the plaintiff saying over here? The plaintiff is saying that, look here, you owe me a mana. That's what he's saying to the defendant. You owe me a mana. And what's the answer of what's the response of the defendant? He's saying, oh, I don't, I owe you a half of a mana. I admit I owe you a half of a mana. So Rashi is saying that really we could have thought that this guy is a great guy, this defendant. He's like a Meishiv Veda. He's like taking a half of the mana, and he's saying to the plaintiff, he's saying, here, I'm returning you your lost item over here that you're looking to get. Here it is. I'm giving it back to you. Why is he called a law? And then Rashi says, and because he's such a great guy, he's like somebody who returns an Aveda. Oh, he's such a good guy. We would have thought to say, as a result of that, lepatro shelo kafar bakulo. We would have thought to say, we're not going to make him take a shvua. He could have. He's a great guy. If he could have said, I don't know you from Adam. What are you talking about that I owe you a mana? I don't owe you a red cent. That's what he could have said. Shalom kafar bakuloi. This guy's like a Meshiv Aveda. He's like returning half of the mana to the plaintiff, and he should be patted on the back. Instead, we're saying, oh, we're going to put a shvua on you on the other amount.
Hello.
So Rashi's giving a bit of a ration. The Gemora is saying, we're going into an explanation of why it is that the Torah puts a shvua on this person. That's a modemixis. Rashi's saying we need to know, we need to have a reason for this, because on the face of it, we could say that it doesn't make sense. We could say, look, this guy is a real honest guy, somebody who returns an article. He's an honest guy, right? What's in it for him to return? He could have kept it. But here he's saying, here's your lost item. So just like we see that he's a trustworthy guy on the first half of the mana, let's trust him on the second half of the mana. He says he doesn't owe. He says he owes half of the claim of the plaintiff. Let's say, wow, he admitted to half of the claim. Let's say that since we see that he's somebody who admits to his obligation as far as half of the claim, it must be that he doesn't owe the other half, and that's why he didn't. And that's why he didn't. And that's why he didn't admit on that half. We see that he admits. He admitted to half of the claim. The other half he didn't admit. Must be he doesn't owe it. Because if he wanted to be a liar, he could have said, "Kofar b'kol, I don't owe anything to you, Mr. Plaintiff." So the Rabbah is coming to explain, no, that's really not what it's not really about that, because we don't, this person, he doesn't have the chutzpah to look at this guy in the face and say, I don't owe you anything. So that takes down this Havamina that Rashi's bringing out over here. But that's Rashi's Havamina. Okay. Okay, so now we could turn the page. Yay, and a round of applause for Gimel Amid Aleph. Okay. This is okay. Now we go to oh, we did we finished the Rashi's on the page, but did we actually get to the Gemora? We read the whole Gemora until the end of the page?
I think we did read to the end of the page, yes.
Did read to the end of the page? Okay.
Yeah, I stopped at the end of the page.
Oh, so we're up to exactly the top of Gimel Amid base now. Okay. So back to Lu. Hi, Bakule boy de lo delay.
Hi, the Bakule boy de lode lay. And really, this defendant would want to admit the claim in its entirety. The high de lo ode. And the reason he did not admit the entire claim is that ish tamute who dekar mishta mate mine. He is simply evading the creditor. Savar ad de hayu li zuze ufarana le, thinking, I will put him off until I have the money, and then I will pay him. Va'amar Rachamana Ramai Shavua Ale Ki Hechi de Lode Le de Kule. Therefore, the merciful one said, impose an oath upon him so that he will admit the claim in its entirety rather than swear falsely. And if he indeed denies the rest under oath, then we can accept that sworn denial to be the truth.
Right.
So in other words, he's stalling.
Right. Why did he borrow the money in the first place? Because he needed money. And now he used that money that he borrowed in order to do whatever he needed money to do. And then now he's in the same 3 months later, he's in the same predicament that he was before. Now he's got to pay up, but he doesn't have the money to pay up. So what is he going to do now? He's going to try to put off the lender, put him off until he has time, until he manages to get a hold of the necessary funds to pay him back. But he doesn't mean to. That's what we mean when we say over here, "Ishtamute hu dekom ishtamet mine." It's like the word, right? He's putting him off. He's putting him off. He's trying to put him off, but he's not trying to deny the claim entirely. So that's what he thinks. That's his plan.
So he's not trying to deny the claim at all.
What?
He's not trying to deny the claim at all. He wants to admit the claim, but he's got to stall so that he can pay.
So why doesn't he admit the claim completely instead of denying it in part?
Because he has 50.
Oh, okay. Maybe he has that amount.
The 50, and hopefully by the time goes by, he pays the 50, and the court proceedings go. He'll get the rest, and he'll say, "Oh, sorry, here I have the rest."
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's see. We got Rashi over here. Hi, Bahai, and this one, Bakule, the whole thing. Boy, Delodi.
Bakule by Levadi. And here, all of it, he's going to admit it.
Boy over here would seem to mean that he would he wouldn't mind to admit it. He's not trying to claim that he doesn't owe. If he let's see how Rashi explains it.
Okay. The Chaytamen, if you say it's a migo, it's a migo case. He has a better explanation. He could have said something else. The Chasir Amuna, that he removes his Amuna, Chasir Ashfur. When he removes his Amun, his faith in it, he removes his shvua. Below, that's a garmi or narmi. That's a low karami. He's not like a deceiver.
Below narme, we're not going to place upon him. The nun is because it's plural, the bezdin, I guess. Lo narmi alei shvuasa. And we wouldn't place upon him a shvua.
Shvua. Lo hasir amuna. If he doesn't, we don't remove the amuna, the believability in it. Lefi shibaratsono, because it's his will, haya model the kulo, that he's going to admit all of it. Elarada she'ain biyado lifroa, and it's not in his hand to pay up the savar, and he thinks aid a witness that'll have money, the parano lay, and then it'll be paid.
Okay, so Rashi's asking a question over here. He's not explaining like he generally does the Gemora. He's a little bit like Tosfos over here. V'chi tema, like Tosfos starts off his commentary sometimes. V'chi tema, if you'll say the following question on this Gemora. What's the Gemara saying? The Gemara is saying that we're going to put a shvua on him, and we're explaining what the case is all about over here. Rashi's saying, 1 second over here. There's a question here that needs to be addressed. We have a migu over here. No. Forget that. Rashi is just using the word in the way we always use it. Since migu over here just means since. It doesn't mean that he has a koach of timing the following thing. I'm not talking about that. Since this person is chashud, amamona, he's suspected of stealing money, of being not honest with money. This guy, this defendant, right? Because we think that he probably owes the whole amount. So if he holds the whole amount, so he's trying to avoid payment, something that he really is obligated to pay. So that's the way he looks at the issur of not paying back somebody that you borrowed from. If so, chashid ashvuasa, he's going to be suspect in regard to the matter of making a false oath. So if so, what worth is his shvua that he gives to us? It's like why would the bezdin ask a crook, a confirmed crook, to make a shvua that he didn't steal something? Is that a worthwhile shvua that the bezdin is going to want to do? No, of course not. So this person who is avoiding his monetary obligations over here, why would we want to make him? Why was the Torah want him to put a shvua on this person? What's the benefit? What's the accomplishment of doing that? He's just like he's lying in regard to evading the monetary obligation that he has. He'll also lie and evade the the monetary obligation by making a false shvua. So the shvua is worthless. So why should the Torah put a shvua on a person like this? V'lo narme aleh shvuasa. We wouldn't have thought to put a shvua on a person like this. Why is the Torah doing that? On that, Rashi is giving an answer to the question. It's not so. Lo chashidash amamona. This person, Rabbah is explaining. It's implied in Rabbah's words that this person is not really chashid to evade a monetary obligation, meaning to say to avoid it altogether and not have to pay what he owes. No, not at all. It really is the fervent wish and desire. That's what the Gemora means when it says the haibakule boy delodi. That he would really want, he would really desire to admit to the full amount. This is what his desire would be. Ella, but ain't biyodo lifroya, but he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have the ability in his hand to pay right now, and so it's not going to be convenient for him to admit to the whole amount. He's going to have to, where's he going to come up with the money? The Beis Din's going to say, so give him the money, pay him the money. He doesn't have it, so so he thinks that like this, he's gonna be able to do better. Sabar, what does he think? Ad the habili zuze, until I get the money, the necessary money in order to pay him back, which I'm planning to do. Uparanale, and pay him. I'm gonna make this story of I only owe half the amount. I'm gonna make that story. Like a white lie to try to evade the putting the pressure on himself to have to pay the whole amount now because he doesn't have it. But the point is that he doesn't really intend to not pay something that he owes, and he's not saying what he's saying in order to avoid paying an obligation that he has. Therefore, he's not chashid on mammon, and therefore he would be a candidate for a Torah mandated shvua being imposed upon him. And in the Torah's view of the matter is he's going to back down. If we put a shvua on him, he's going to back down and be moda on the whole amount, because he's not a person who would make a false shvua. That's what we're assuming. Okay. Okay, so now we're up to aval in the Gemora. Okay, Lou. Aval ha'odas edim.
Let's see. Aval ha'adas edim deleka lememar hachi ema lo. But where the partial liability is established by the testimony of witnesses, where this analysis cannot be said, since the defendant has in fact denied the entire claim, I would say that he does not swear. Kamashmalan kol v'chomer. Therefore, we need the kol v'chomer, which informs us that the defendant must swear even if the plaintiff's claim is partially substantiated, not by admission, but by witnesses.
Right, because this defendant, in the case of Reb Chia, he seems like quite a like we say here, a chutzpan. He's quite an impudent fellow. we suspect over here that what happened is that we suspect that what the plaintiff said is true, even though he doesn't have any proof to it. And what the defendant is saying in denying the whole thing is he's quite a he's really trying to avoid paying the obligation. He's really trying to avoid it, and therefore he sounds like a guy who would be chashid on mammon, according to what Rashi's analysis was. And in such a case, we would say, yes, this person, we're not going to put a shvua on him. We think that he's chashid on mammon. If so, then he's chashid on making a false shvua as well. And we wouldn't put a shvua on such a person. And therefore, therefore, we need a proof from the Mishnah that says that we see from the Mishnah that those two people make a shvua. So all the more so, this guy should make a shvua over here too. In the case of Reb Chia, that's the cheshbon over here. We got a Rashi, the Leka Lememar Hachi.
The Leka Lememar, that we shouldn't say this. Shahari Kofer B'kulam, that he denies it all. Amigo, there's amigo in this. The Chaser Amuna, he removes his believability. Haser, sure, he will remove his meaning shvua.
Right. So over here, in the case of Reb Chia, what the Gemora calls the case of ha'adas edim, the testimony of the witnesses is what's establishing that the guy owes half of the claim of the plaintiff. In such a case, the leka lememar hachi, and we can't say like this. So we would have thought to say, lo, he doesn't make a shvua. So Rashi is explaining what's the leka lememar hachi. What's the that we can't say like what? Rashi says we can't say sharei kofar b'kuloi. This guy, this defendant, he denied the whole amount, the whole claim of the plaintiff, and so therefore he's not at all like the guy of the Torah mandated shvua of moda mixes that Rabbah explained. That that guy he really would like to admit on the whole amount, but there's a whole story over there, like we said. But this guy, we see he denied the whole amount, so therefore he's chashid on mammon. So therefore we should say migu the chashid on mammon, since we see that he's chashid on mammon, he's suspect of trying to evade the payment that he owes. So therefore, chashid shvuasa, that would make him also suspect on taking a shvua. We suspect that he would make a false shvua as well, and therefore we would not put a shvua on such a person. So therefore, based upon Rabbah's analysis of why the Torah says someone that is a motive of mixus, when he admits in part, the Torah puts a shvua on him. Accordingly, we would say that somebody who's a kofar bakol, who denies the whole amount that was claimed against him, we would not put a shvua on him because he's chashid b'mammon. But therefore, Reb Chia is going to say, yeah, but I've got a kal v'chomer from our Mishnah about Shnai Moksim Batalis that we tell both of them to make a shvua, and then if you make a shvua, you'll take. So Reb Chia wants to say, if that's what we say to these two people in our Mishnah, all the more so we would say to this person who's in this case of that he's a kofar bakol. Okay. Okay. That take us about until the end.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay. Yashikoyach.
See you tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem.
Okay.
Okay,
nice
Bez
and,
Hashem.
What are we doing tomorrow? Are we doing Chorev or Gemora?
Whatever you want.
on Friday, usually I don't do Gemara on Friday.
Yeah, so you're not coming tomorrow, Phil?
No, but I'm going to try to come Sunday. So, because I'll still be around. I'll take the break from the cleaning. I'll be
Okay.
in the house.
All right,
By
so
that.
Mitzvah Hashem will do Chorev tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Rabbi. Have a good
Everybody
day.
have a great day.
Have a good day, Phil.
Take care.